public promise to deliver packages in one day became a logistics revolution. Here's how Amazon turned a marketing line into a machine that bends distance, shapes clicks, and rewrote the rules of retail. Ordered Tuesday, 10:31 a.m., delivered Wednesday, 6:18 p.m., 20 hours, 47 minutes. A sentence on a website became a system that moves inventory before you click, routes vans by algorithm, and nudges your checkout clock. The promise was speed, the weapon was density, the battlefield was every mile between warehouse and doorstep. This is the story of how Amazon turned one-day delivery into infrastructure, and what it cost everyone else who tried to match the line without building the pipes. You'll see regional nodes, last-mile control, cutoff psychology, and a cost curve that bends when enough packages flow down the same street. How do you beat distance with time, every day, everywhere? Let's find out. April 2019. Amazon announces free one-day shipping for Prime members nationwide. Not a pilot, not select cities, everywhere. The promise is a dare. To customers, try us. To rivals, match this. To its own network, make it real every day or the whole thing collapses. Speed changes behavior. A 2-day window lets you procrastinate. 1 day makes you believe. Belief lifts conversion. The percent of browsers who buy, higher conversion means more orders. More orders down the same route mean lower cost per stop. That's the flywheel. But only if the system can keep the promise. If it can't, unit costs explode. Trucks roll half empty, drivers backtrack, customers bail. The taunt becomes a trap. Inside the machine, time fragments into minutes. A picker has seconds to pull an item. A sorter has moments to scan and slide it onto the right belt. A driver has a window to hit 80 stops before sunset. Miss one handoff, and the whole chain breaks. The clock is the constraint. The promise is the weapon. Now the question. Can the board even play this game? Before one day, the board looked like this. Massive fulfillment centers hundreds of miles apart, connected by overnight line haul trucks. Last mile outsourced to UPS, FedEx, USPS. Carriers with their own schedules, their own capacity limits, their own prices. The constraints were distance, dependence, and sparseness. Distance meant long transits. Dependence meant negotiating with carriers who also served your rivals. Sparseness meant routes with too few stops per mile. Route density, the number of packages a driver delivers per hour, which determines cost per parcel. The players on the board, regional fulfillment centers, FCs, where inventory sits. Sortation centers that consolidate packages by zip code, AMZL, and DSP networks, Amazon Logistics and Delivery Service Partners, the in-house vans and contracted drivers, external carriers for zones still too sparse to justify internal delivery, and algorithms forecasting demand down to the neighborhood. Route density is simple. More stops per mile means lower cost per stop. If you deliver one package on a 10-mile loop, that's expensive. If you deliver 40 packages on the same loop, the math changes. Density is the variable that bends the cost curve. To make one day real, Amazon had to rewrite 3 rules: where inventory sits, who controls the doorstep, and when you click. Move 1. Put the stuff near the people before they order it. This is regionalization. Instead of stocking one mega warehouse with everything, you duplicate popular inventory across dozens of regional FCs. If you're in Chicago, your order ships from a building 40 miles away, not 400. The mechanics. Algorithms predict what each region will buy. Diapers in suburbs, textbooks near universities, winter coats in the Midwest by October. You slot those items close. You accept duplication, the same bestseller sitting in 15 warehouses. You pay the working capital cost of holding more total inventory. You enforce slotting discipline so pickers don't waste seconds hunting. The benefit? Distance shrinks. A truck that used to drive 10 hours now drives 2. A package that needed overnight line haul now takes a van shuttle. The percentage of orders that can ship one day jumps because the starting line moved closer to the finish. But regionalization has a trade-off. If you guess wrong, stock ski gear in Miami, stock swimsuits in Minnesota, you strand inventory. Items sit unsold while other regions run out. You pay to rebalance, moving goods between FCs at your own expense. The math works when prediction is good enough and volume is high enough to absorb the duplication cost. Amazon's scale made it possible. Smaller players face the same trade-off with less room for error. Move 2. Take the last mile in-house, where density allows. For decades, the last mile belonged to UPS and FedEx. They had the trucks, the drivers, the route knowledge. But they also had constraints: fixed pickup times, peak surcharges, shared capacity with competitors, no direct control over service recovery when a package went missing. Amazon built AMZL, its own logistics network, and the DSP program, which onboards small delivery companies under contract. The mechanics. Amazon owns the routing software, sets the service standards, handles customer comms, and captures the doorstep data. DSPs supply the vans and drivers. Amazon pays per package, not per route, shifting utilization risk. Where does this work? High-density zones, urban cores, dense suburbs, where a van can hit 150-plus stops per route. The unit economics pencil, cost per delivery drops below what external carriers charge, and Amazon gains speed and flexibility. Drivers can deliver until 10 p.m. They can make a second attempt the same day. They can pivot when weather hits. Where does it not work? Rural routes, sparse exurbs, anywhere a van drives 20 miles between stops. In those zones, Amazon still relies on USPS and regional carriers. Owning the mile there would bleed cash. The trade-off: upfront capital expenditure, vans, micro depots, routing tech, and the risk that if volume drops, you're stuck with underutilized assets. External carriers bill by the package. Internal networks bill by the fixed cost. But control is the prize. When you own the mile, you own the promise. You set cutoffs. You adjust staffing. You don't negotiate with a carrier who just raised rates for everyone. Move 3. Shape when and how customers click. You can't control where people live, but you can nudge when they order and whether they consolidate shipments. This is demand shaping, the invisible hand that bends the density curve. The mechanics: ETA microcopy at checkout. Order by 11 a.m. for delivery tomorrow. That countdown timer isn't just information, it's psychology. It clusters orders into the same cutoff window, which means the sortation center processes a denser batch, which means routes load heavier, which means cost per package drops. Consolidation is the other lever. Choose fewer, faster deliveries, or select one day to receive all items this week. Every time a customer picks grouped delivery, Amazon gains flexibility. Route planners can fit those packages into the densest possible van. Here's the graph moment. Imagine a curve. Horizontal axis is packages per route. Vertical axis is cost per package. At low density, say 10 packages per route, cost per package is high. The driver still drove the route. Fixed costs don't shrink. As density climbs, 20, 40, 60 packages per route, the curve bends. Cost per package plummets because you're dividing the same route overhead across more stops. This is the density bend. It's why the promise and the pipes reinforce each other. Promise one day, conversion rises. More orders hit the same zip codes. Routes densify, unit cost falls. You can afford to promise one day in more zones. Flywheel accelerates. The trade-off? You're conditioning customers to expect speed. If you miss, they notice. And shaping demand only works if you have enough volume in each corridor to make the math meaningful. Small players can nudge cutoffs all they want. If they're delivering 3 packages per route, the curve never bends. Walmart, Target, eBay. Others all pledged faster delivery. Some promised one day or same day on select items. The line was easy to copy. The system was not. The trap, promising speed without the pipes to keep the promise everywhere, every day. If your inventory isn't regionalized, you're still shipping long distances. If you don't own last mile in dense zones, you're paying carrier peak rates. If you can't shape demand into dense cutoff windows, your routes stay sparse and your costs stay high. Rivals faced a choice: build the full stack, regional FCs, internal delivery, demand shaping tools, or nibble at the edges, same day in 5 cities, next day on a curated catalogue. Building the stack requires billions in capex and years of operational learning. Nibbling preserves capital, but seeds the perception of speed to Amazon. Some tried hybrid models: ship from store for local inventory, partner with third-party delivery platforms for last mile, offer fast shipping as an upsell rather than a default. These work in pockets, dense metros, high-value items, but don't scale to everywhere, every item, every day. The result? Competitors either retreated to niches, Target's same day via shipped for groceries, Walmart's store pickup, or accepted that speed would remain Amazon's moat. Matching the promise without matching the density meant bleeding margin or breaking trust. One-day delivery created 3 hidden fronts most people never see. Hidden front 1, returns. Faster delivery means faster returns. The reverse pipeline has to match the forward one. Collection points, consolidation hubs, inspection, restock versus liquidate decisions. Every return costs, labor to process, transportation back to an FC, lost sale if the item can't be resold at full price. High return rates in certain categories, apparel, electronics, erode the unit economics of one day. Amazon built dedicated return sortation centers and automated grading systems to speed the loop, but the cost never disappears. Hidden front 2, weather and disruptions. Ice storms, hurricanes, wildfire smoke. Nature doesn't care about your promise. Buffers help. Extra vans on standby, rerouted sortation flows, proactive customer comms when delays are inevitable. Amazon's scale lets it absorb localized disruptions without system-wide collapse, but every missed delivery chips away at trust. The strategy? Be honest when you'll miss, update ETAs in real time, and recover fast. Competitors with thinner networks have less slack. One weather event can cascade into region-wide delays. Hidden front 3, owning Saturday. E-commerce used to rest on weekends. One day made Saturday a work day. Sortation runs, delivery shifts, the whole machine humming 7 days a week. Owning Saturday means capex, weekend staffing, overtime, facility utilization. but also competitive advantage. If you promise Monday delivery for a Sunday order, you need Sunday sortation. Most carriers didn't run full networks on weekends. Amazon did. The calendar became infrastructure. One day changed three groups. Customers, speed became habit. You stopped planning trips to the store because the thing would arrive tomorrow. The expectation reset. Anything slower felt broken. Some studies suggest one-day availability lifts purchase frequency by double digits. You bought more because the friction of waiting disappeared. Sellers. Fulfillment by Amazon, FBA, the program where sellers send inventory to Amazon's FCs and Amazon handles shipping, became the on-ramp to the Buy Box and Prime badge. Sellers paid fees, storage, fulfillment, inbound shipping, but they got access to one-day delivery and higher conversion. The trade-off: lose control of inventory, risk stranded stock if predictions miss, accept fee increases when Amazon adjusts pricing. Still, many chose it because not being Prime eligible meant invisibility. Industry. Speed became table stakes. Retailers rebuilt supply chains. Logistics providers invested in sortation automation and last-mile capacity. Regulators started asking whether the combination of inventory proximity, delivery control, and marketplace dominance created anti-competitive leverage. Could Amazon favor its own products, squeeze third-party sellers, or foreclose rivals from fast delivery? Those questions remain open. The second-order effect. One day didn't just change shopping. It changed where people expected things to happen. Same-day grocery delivery, restaurant delivery, prescription delivery. The mental model of order now, receive soon spread beyond Amazon. The company didn't invent speed, but it normalized it at scale. 3 lessons from Amazon's one-day war. Lesson 1. Density beats distance. The shortest route is worthless if it carries one package. The longest route is profitable if it carries 50. Volume per corridor matters more than raw speed. Build density first, then promise speed. Lesson 2. Own the promise, then own enough pipes to keep it. A marketing line without infrastructure is just a lie with a countdown timer. You don't need to own everything. Amazon still uses external carriers in sparse zones, but you need control over the choke points, inventory proximity, last-mile delivery where it matters, and the data to predict demand. Lesson 3. Shape demand windows. Speed without density leaks cash. Nudge customers into cutoff windows that let you batch orders, fill routes, and bend the cost curve. The UI is part of the system. Order by timers, consolidation offers, ETA microcopy. Every click you shape is a dollar you save. The question for you: what's the fastest delivery you've ever had? And what would you miss if one day vanished tomorrow? Drop your answer in the comments. We'll see you in the next war.